Welcome to the second annual Opportunity for Influence Breakfast. My name's Carrie Reeder-Petkovich, and I am proud to serve as the board chair of Smart Start of Mecklenburg County. First off, I want to thank all of you for coming today and spending the morning with us to talk about a topic that's so critical to our community. And it's how can we focus on our youngest children to ensure that they are ready and successful in school and in life. At last year's inaugural event, this conversation was really just getting started in our community. My, what a difference a day makes. First off, I think we doubled the crowd from last year, so it's great to see so many people that are focused on this topic, and I'm sure it has nothing to do with our speaker today. Many of us have heard now the statistic that the brain is the only organ that is not fully formed by the time a child is born. And in fact, 80% of the brain is developed in the first 3 years of life, 90% by the time the child goes to kindergarten. So that's a lot of development in the first 5 years and why this time is so critical. In the Leading on Opportunity report, which came out this time last year, 2 of the 3 determinants for social mobility are directly tied to young children and their families, including early care and education and family and child stability. And thanks to the council, we've really increased the conversation around these 2 areas. Coming out of an early finding from the Leading on Opportunity report, the county has taken a bold step of creating a 5-point plan, including clearing the child subsidy wait list and creating a case for universal pre-K, so all children 4 years of age can be prepared for kindergarten. And we've also, over the last year, learned a great deal about adverse childhood experiences, or what you may have heard the term ACEs, and how these childhood experiences have a direct correlation to the increase of risk for disease, social and emotional problems that you may experience as an adult. So again, a lot of conversations going on over the last year. While it's wonderful to see the increased conversation, there's still so much work that can be done and needs to be discussed. Our goal for today is twofold. First off, we want to continue to expand the conversation and the discussion on why we must focus on our youngest children. And of course, no person can do a better job at that than Governor Jim Hunt. So again, thank you for joining us today. Secondly, we're excited to share with you Smart Start's plan in leading the way, working with all of our nonprofit partners in the community to increase the health and well-being of children in Mecklenburg County, birth to 5. And for that, we have Nancy Hughes, our executive director at Smart Start, who will talk to us about our key priorities. And we promise we'll get you out of here by 9:30. At this time, I'd like to specifically thank a few people for joining us today, including, first off, Cindy Watkins, president of North Carolina Partnership for Children. Cindy joined us last year. We know Raleigh's kind of a hike, so thank you for joining us. I'm glad to have you back. We have a number of city and county officials joining us today, including members of the Mecklenburg County Commissioners, members of the City Council and Board of Education, as well as several city and county leaders. I'd ask that you please stand so we can recognize you. We are thrilled to also have a number of our state elected officials with us today and representatives from the governor's office. So would members of the North Carolina House of Representatives, North Carolina Senate, representatives from the governor's office and Department of Public Instruction all please stand so we can recognize you. And this is a group that I personally want to recognize and thank, so I'd ask that all Smart Start current board members please stand. I have to say it's truly an honor to work with these individuals who have put so much time and energy, especially over the last year as we've been working on our priorities for the upcoming years. And finally, as some of you have seen, we are at our 25th anniversary for Smart Start, and we're thrilled to have a number of former board members with us today. So I'd ask that you please stand, and particularly I'd like to recognize Margie Warlick-Tate and Bob Eagle, who are original board members from Smart Start. So former board members, please stand. Today's event would not be possible without our sponsors, which you can see here. I'd like to thank presenting sponsors, Providence Preparatory School, supporting sponsors, Rogers Builders and Bank of America, and our community advocate sponsors. Thank you for donating and supporting this event. And now I'd like to invite Sandy Weathersby, owner of Providence Prep, to come up to say a few words. And while I'd personally like to thank Sandy and his wife Betsy for supporting today's event, I really want to thank you and the educators at your school for taking time and educating our youngest children in the community, which is so critical. So with that, I want to thank you all again for joining us today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your morning.
Thank you, Carrie. I'm Sandy Weathersby and my wife Betsy, and we're relative newcomers to early education, meaning maybe 10 years if I stretch it out a little bit. But my first adventure was to sit on a board of a nonprofit that was failing at the time, and as I learned and tried to learn how to rebuild that process, I learned a lot about what Smart Start does and how involved it is in our community and in our state. And so fast forward a little bit, we opened Providence Preparatory, and we began to look at sort of how we want to take ourselves and where we want to go. And as I look at sort of the bigger picture, whether it's nonprofit or for-profit, it's incumbent upon us to, I won't say rebrand, but at least adjust the way we market ourselves. The field of early education, we're not just daycare, we're parent care, we're family care. And the first 1,000 days are incredibly important. And once we get that message out better to nonprofits, foundations, everywhere, then I think some of the dollars that now go elsewhere will start getting focused and funneled back into early education. So that's my goal personally. I certainly will need a lot of help, but I know where to go, and that would be to Smart Start.
Well, my biggest connection to Smart Start is through the Healthy Futures in the Kitchen program presented by Central Piedmont. At Providence Prep, we serve a little less than 5,000 meals a week to 300 children. And I can't tell you the help that we've gotten through the chefs at Central Piedmont, the program. We're trying to educate our parents. We want our parents to partner with us. Whatever we're doing in the day, we want that to continue at night and vice versa. So the parent engagement piece of Healthy Futures starting at home, as well as Healthy Futures starting in the kitchen, I can't give enough kudos to it. It's just been wonderful, and I would say that any of you in child care here, please tap into those resources. Thank you.